All right, everybody, thanks for stopping by WTHI-TV.com. This is our second live weather web chat that we've had. We did one back before the winter season.
November, I believe.
Back in November before the winter season. We talked about our winter forecast, the outlook, and things like that we put into that forecast. This time, we're talking about severe weather. This is Severe Weather Preparedness Week. We've got the entire storm team standing by. Indiana, some of the schools just had their tornado drill at 10:15, and that's all pushed out by the National Weather Service. So if you did hear any sirens or saw any tornado text products come along your phones or things like that, that was all just a drill today. Now, for those of you who have been anticipating this for a couple of days and have submitted questions, we're going to get to all of those. We've got Kevin Orpert standing by with some questions that he's going to answer here in just a quick second. But if you've got further questions and want to ask those right now, the best way at this point to do so, since we've already started our live show here, is through our Facebook page. We've got Joe Ostrowski standing by, our fourth member of the storm team. He is going to be making sure we get all those questions, and we're going to get those answered in a timely manner. So again, this is real kind of loose. So again, if you've got some questions, shoot them at us. We can also try to keep up with our email at this point, but the best place to do so is through our Facebook page at WTHI-TV.com. You guys ready to get going?
I'm ready.
Good deal. Kevin, we're going to send it to you for the first question, and we got some more over here too. So take it away.
Much, Dave, and good morning, everybody. Thank you, first of all, for your questions that have come in. We certainly appreciate it, and we've gotten some really good questions. And I'm going to start off with one that a lot of people have asked, and this is a question from Conan Tully. And his question is, have storms over the years been getting stronger due to climate change, or is the Earth going through cycles? Well, my answer at this, based on my experience, is that the Earth goes through cycles. Now, a very large storm is probably just as strong as storms have been historically. However, because of the fact that we have so much more population and so much more area being populated, it has more damage. And so when we say a storm is costing in the millions of dollars to recover from, it doesn't mean that it was a stronger storm as far as the pressure and the wind and things like that, but it affects more people. We had a great example of that with the ice storm that we had this past winter. Certainly an ice storm is treacherous no matter what. 100 years ago, however, it's most likely would have had much less damage and much less of an impact than we have now, especially because of our reliance on electricity and computers and communication and getting in our own cars and traveling and so on. And so storms, in my opinion, are not getting stronger. The Earth is going through cycles. It always will go through cycles, and we'll always continue to have storms. The fact is, the human impact, I think, is going to be much greater. Do you guys have a question? You want me to do another one?
Let me do one real quick, okay. Kev, because I was talking to, let's see, Mrs. Swingley's second grade class in Reelsville Elementary. They have lunch here in just a little while, and they are able to watch us, I do believe. And again, if they're not, I'll shoot her an email here in just a quick second. Out at Reelsville Elementary, they were curious if you're stuck on a playground and a tornado was spotted. Well, first and foremost, watches and warnings will hopefully be issued early in advance to where you're not stuck outside, and that's the main goal. Is we try to push these things out in enough time with the National Weather Service so you don't necessarily get stuck, because the last place you want to be if a tornado's coming
want to be outside.
Would be outside. Yeah. And her question was, what do you do if one is spotted? Well, first things first, get to a safe place. Make sure you round everybody up and try to get in. If you can get back into the building and get to your designated tornado shelter, that would be the best thing that you can do. Unfortunately, if that's not an option for you, what I always do before I go anywhere, if I think the weather's bad, first off, is just try not to be outside. But if you are stuck out there, you know, kind of scan the place a little bit. Just kind of see where the best place may be in case of any other emergency for that matter. But the best place to be if you're outside is just to kind of get in a low-lying area, because most injuries from being around a tornado or near one is not that the tornado picks you up and throws you, but it picks other objects around. And it's got wind speeds blowing around all over the place.
Over 100 miles per hour. And you don't want to be under a tree, you don't want to be near water or anything, but you want to get preferably an empty ditch so that you are blocked on both sides in your low-lying areas. But yeah, the debris.
And that's
tornadoes
the thing.
just pick up those twigs and branches, and they.
And the reason
whip
you
them
get down,
around.
they pick up cars for that matter. But that's the reason you get down in a low-lying ditch is because all that debris hopefully will be going over your head. So if you're stuck outside there in any fashion, that would be the best advice that I've got for you, Mrs. Swingley's second grade class. Out on a playground, if one's spotted, get to the safe places as quickly as you can. Otherwise, if you're stuck outside, try to find the safest place outside. Let's see here.
Another question I have here, since we're talking about safe places to be during a tornado. Let's see here. Where was that question? Martha sent us this question. She lives in a manufactured home community. Where's the safest place in my home during a tornado warning? Is it the hall or the bathroom? And we have a few graphics to explain in different locations where to go.
Sure.
But in a manufactured home, normally in a bathtub is the best place to go because you can be blocked. It's very secure. And you're covered from that debris. Get some blankets, put that in there. And if you're in your home, stay away from the windows as well. Get into the basement if you have one. Get under a table or a bench in your basement. If you're in a home without a basement, stay away from the windows. Still, get to the lowest floor and find an interior room or closet. In a mobile home, abandon it immediately, and hopefully you have plans to get to a designated shelter. And today is a great day to practice that because we have another practice tornado drill later on this afternoon.
Later on this evening. That's what I was saying with a manufactured home community or a mobile home factory community, something like that. Again, the best place to go is to a designated shelter. Make that plan now because if we put out these warnings, we'll talk specifically where these warnings are for. We'll say what part of the county, if it's on the eastern side of the county and you live in the next county over and you know it's coming your way. We have our storm path predictor that'll try to help pinpoint the movement of this. Yes. Just try to have that designated shelter already, a place in mind so you can take your family there. Now, again, if it comes up and maybe sneaks up on you and you're stuck in your home, again, the best place to go is to an interior room away from windows in a hallway, something that's got a little more sturdy structure to it as well. Let's go to the weather machine now and take a look at the, let's see, hang on with me. Let me go to another graphic here, and I want to show you, I want to answer this next question, which basically is, as I think is very interesting, and I think we as meteorologists take this for granted because it talks about weather patterns. Let's see. My question is, why do all weather systems, rainstorms, snow, etc., always come from the west? It seems weather moves west to east. Why do storms not come from the east? And this is the simple answer with two words is global circulation. And all of our weather patterns fall underneath this global circulation. Take a look at the big picture. And again, you've got basically west to east here, and this is our current national satellite and radar, and you see all the patterns here, and this is a great question, by the way. This is just showing us that, you see all the weather patterns moving from left to right. All of our upper level winds are all coming from the west, and that's pushing all of our weather from the west coast to the east coast. But think about this. That's all I've got on the graphics for John, who's directing this, so you can stay on there as long as you want, or you can, thank you. What happens is if you look at hurricanes, they come off the western side of Africa. All the winds over that part of Africa are coming just the opposite way. So it pushes all the hurricanes across the Atlantic from east to west, and you see those come south of Florida, over Cuba, over some of the Bahamas and such, and down in the Caribbean. Those, once they hit the Gulf, have you ever noticed how they hit the Gulf and they start coming up and start making that right-hand turn? That's because the global circulation wind patterns change in that area. So think of it as this. At the equator, they're calm. Just north of the equator, they go from right to left. Just north of that, where we get our wind patterns, they go from left to right. And so it's just, especially if you Google search global circulation weather patterns, you'll get a pretty good description of that. Enough on this side. Let's go back over to Kevin. I think he's got another couple questions that he can answer as well. Kevin?